I have been married to Claire for 7 years. 7 years of grocery runs on Sunday mornings, of arguing about the thermostat, of splitting the last slice of pizza and pretending neither of us wanted it. 7 years of a life so woven together that I sometimes forgot where my habits ended and hers began. And yet this particular October morning, I woke up, looked at the date on my phone, and made a decision that I knew was either the bravest or the stupidest thing I had ever done. I was going to pretend I forgot our anniversary, not because I was angry, not because I wanted to hurt her. I am Daniel Hayes, 41 years old, senior architect at a firm downtown Chicago, and I had spent the last 8 months watching my marriage quietly drift the way a boat drifts when nobody is holding the oar. No storm, no crash, just a slow, almost peaceful movement away from shore. We did not fight anymore. That was the thing. People think fighting is the sign a marriage is dying, but they are wrong. Silence is the sign. We had become very, very good at silence. So I wanted to know, if I said nothing today, if I walked through this anniversary like any ordinary Tuesday, what would Claire do? Would she bring it up? Would she be hurt? Would she be relieved? Would she even notice in any way that meant something? I needed to know if she was still in this. And I needed to know if I was. I came downstairs that morning and Claire was already in the kitchen, dressed for work, her dark hair pulled back, reading something. On her phone with the focused expression she always had before 8 in the morning. She taught literature at a community college, and she carried books the way other people carried oxygen, constantly, necessarily without thinking about it. She looked up. "Morning." "Morning," I said. I poured coffee. She finished reading whatever she was reading. Neither of us said anything about the date. I told myself this was fine. I told myself I was just gathering information. She left for work at 8:15. I left at 8:45. The day moved the way days do when you are waiting for something, slowly, with too much space between the hours. I came home at 6:30. Claire's car was in the driveway. Inside, the house smelled like nothing special. No candles, no cooking, no signal. She was on the couch with a student's paper in her hand, red pen tapping her knee, glasses on, fully absorbed. "Hey," she said, not looking up. "Hey," I said. We had dinner. Leftover soup she had made 2 nights ago. We talked about a difficult student of hers, about a problem I was having with a contractor at work, about whether we needed a new shower curtain. Normal conversation. Comfortable in the way furniture is comfortable, useful, familiar, and entirely without surprise. Anniversary, nothing, not a word. By 9 o'clock, I was sitting in the living room with a book. I had not read a single sentence of, and the feeling in my chest had shifted from curiosity to something heavier. I had wanted an answer tonight. I was getting one, just not the one I had hoped for. At 10, Claire said she was tired and went to bed. I sat there another hour. Then I turned off all the lights and went upstairs. She was asleep, or seemed to be. I changed quietly, got into bed, and lay on my back staring at the ceiling the way a man does when he has a question he is afraid has already been answered. And then something happened that I was not prepared for. Claire's phone lit up on the nightstand. She had set an alarm. It was labeled, and I could see it from where I lay. 3 words, "Do it now." She reached over without sitting up, dismissed the alarm, and then did something I did not expect. She got up. Quietly, carefully, she got out of bed and left the room. I waited. 2 minutes, 5. I heard nothing from downstairs, no TV, no movement, nothing. After 10 minutes, I got up and followed her. She was in the small room at the end of the hall, the one we had always called the study, but which was really just the room where boxes went to be forgotten. The light was on. The door was open halfway. I stood in the hallway and looked through the gap. Claire was sitting on the floor. Around her were things I recognized and things I had not seen in years. Our wedding album open. A shoebox that I knew, even from the doorway, contained the letters. We had written each other during the year we dated long distance when I had taken a job in Seattle. A small glass jar on the shelf above her that I had completely forgotten about. We had started it in year 1, the habit of writing down good moments on slips of paper and dropping them in. We had stopped adding to it somewhere around year 4. She was holding one of the slips of paper, reading it. Her lips moved slightly, the way they always did when she read something that mattered to her. She sat there for a long time. She went through several slips. She looked at a few pages of the wedding album. She did not cry. Claire is not a person who cries easily. But there was something in her face that I recognized because I had not seen it in so long. She looked like herself. The version of herself that existed before routine covered everything over. Then she took out a notebook from somewhere beside her and started writing. She wrote for a long time. I stood in the hallway and did not move. I felt like I was watching something private, and I knew I should leave. But I could not make myself. Eventually, she closed the notebook, put everything back with the same careful attention she had taken it out with, turned off the light and came back into the hall. She saw me immediately. We both stopped. Neither of us said anything for a moment. I did not know what my face looked like. Hers was very still. "How long were you standing there?" she asked. "Long enough," I said. She looked at me for a moment. Then she said, "I knew you hadn't forgotten." "What?" "You have 4 calendar reminders for this date. I've seen them every year. You cannot forget our anniversary. It is physically impossible for you." She paused. "So when you didn't say anything this morning, I knew you were testing something. And I decided I was going to let you." I leaned against the wall. "What were you doing in there?" "The same thing I do every year," she said. "On our anniversary after you fall asleep. I go in there and I spend an hour with all of it. The letters, the jar, the album. I started doing it in year 3 when I felt us getting busy and I was scared of forgetting what we were. It was just supposed to be once. But it helped, so I kept doing it." She paused. "You didn't know." I had not known. 7 years. She had done this every year for 5 of them, and I had not known. "The notebook," I said. "I write down one thing I don't want to forget about you. From the past year. Something small, usually. The way you looked when you got lost driving to that cabin in Vermont and refused to admit it for 40 minutes. The time you stayed up until 2 in the morning, helping my student reformat her thesis because I mentioned she was panicking. Small things." She stopped. "This year I had trouble picking just one. So I wrote 3. I did not say anything. I was not sure I could." She walked past me toward the bedroom, and at the doorway she turned and looked at me with an expression I had not seen in a very long time. Direct and certain, and a little tired and completely open. "The boat thing cuts both ways, Daniel," she said. "I know we've drifted. I've felt it too. But I've been in that room every year reminding myself why I don't want to drift too far." She held the doorframe lightly. "I just didn't know you needed reminding too. You could have just told me." She went inside. I stood in the hallway for another minute. Then I went to the study, turned the light on and picked up the glass jar. I shook it gently. There were maybe 30 slips in there, maybe 40. From the years we had remembered to add to it. I found a blank piece of paper on the desk. I found a pen. I wrote, "The night I found out she's been showing up for us every single year, even when I didn't know to." I folded it. I dropped it in the jar. In the morning she found it. She did not say anything at first. Just stood in the kitchen holding the jar with the new slip inside, looking at it. Then she looked at me. "You went in there." "I went in there." She set the jar down, came across the kitchen, and hugged me the way she used to before we got quiet. Long and real and without any performance to it. I held on and did not say anything smart or funny, which for me is a significant act of self-control. We stood there in the kitchen for a while. The coffee went slightly cold. Neither of us cared. Later that week, we started adding to the jar again. Not every day. Not with any pressure or schedule. Just when something happened that we didn't want to forget. The jar is on the kitchen shelf now where we can both see it. 7 years. Some of it was worn and quiet and less than what we had hoped for. But she had been in that room every year, sitting on the floor, holding the letters, remembering. And I had been asleep down the hall, not knowing, not asking, not showing up in the ways that counted. All she ever needed was for me to show up. Turns out that was all I needed too.